Okay, just like I promised, I made a second part for the creepy people video. I think all of you know what to expect. Another 2 stories of creepy experiences I have had. So let's get right to it. The first story I want to tell is about a guy I met while I was working at a dog groomer. It was late and we were on our last dog of the day, when a man walked in with his little dog asking how long we were still open and if we could watch his dog. He said he had an important appointment to get to and didn't know anyone who could watch his dog doing it. Since we were pretty much about to close, my boss told him so, but, without asking me I might add, volunteered me to watch his dog. Blade doesn't have anything to do after work. I'm sure she can watch your dog, right? I felt a bit pressured to agree, but at the same time I thought, how bad could it be? So I left work a bit early to get to this guy's apartment. We exchanged numbers in case anything happened, and he left while I sat at his place watching his dog. She was a cute dog, but also did not like being separated from him, constantly barking and running around, only stopping once he came back a couple hours later. He thanked me for watching her and said that he would like to invite me to dinner as a thank you, which I quickly told him was not necessary, but that I'm glad I could help. For a while, that was all there was to it. But a week or so later, I met him randomly on a walk as he was walking his dog. Since we were going the same direction, we walked together and got into a conversation. It was fine at first, but the more we talked, the more I felt like he was getting a little too personal for me. I let it slide, since I thought I wasn't going to interact much with him anyways afterwards. When we were about to go our separate ways, he once again asked if he could invite me to dinner, which I again denied. Then the phone spam started. He started messaging me every other day, asking when we would go to dinner. Every single time I told him it's not necessary, I am not a dinner type person. What really creeped me out though was a situation that happened shortly after this. School had just ended and I made my way to the bus stop to go home. Except, who do I see waiting for me at the school gate? The dog guy. I remember feeling this awful dread. I never told him where I went to school. I have no idea how he found out about it. But there he was, standing in the path in such a way I could not avoid him. He had already seen me too, so I walked to the gate and asked him why he was here. His response? "We're going to dinner!" How often did I have to tell him I did not want to go to dinner? And again, I told him I did not know he was planning this. I do not want to go to dinner, especially not spontaneous like this. But I already made reservations. We have to go now. I don't remember exactly what I said anymore. I obviously didn't go to dinner with him, and when I was home, I blocked his number. I was a little worried because he knew where I lived, but nothing followed and I haven't seen him since. That moment though, seeing him there waiting for me, that was incredibly creepy. Now, perhaps a little unexpected, but the second story is about a woman. This story actually happened before any of the other creepy people stories I have told. I was on an active job hunt, applying to all sorts of places. One of these places was a little dance store in the heart of a big city. The position was as a retailer, and I was invited to an interview. I had been to a few interviews at this point, so I knew what to expect. At least, that's what I thought, because honestly, nothing could have prepared me for this. I arrived at the store, and the owner of the store, the woman in question, escorted me from the entrance to their office space. Now, normally in an interview, you would sit at the desk with the person interviewing you. That's what every other interview I have ever had has been like. Not this one. The office was messy. There were stacks of paper and trash just about anywhere, and her desk was at the other end of the room by the window. Instead of offering me a chair in front of her desk, she told me to sit down next to the door, which was a meter or so away from her desk. It was incredibly awkward, because not only did we have to basically yell back and forth to understand each other, I was also just kind of in the open and exposed. She started the interview with the typical questions. How did I find her store? What did I want to be? Where do I see myself in 5 years? You know the drill. Eventually she started cluing in that my home life wasn't very straightforward, as it was somewhat obvious from my resume, and she started asking more and more personal questions. Questions that legally she is not even allowed to ask. Things like, where's your family? What is your relationship with them? I didn't want to answer at first and tried to brush them off, but I'm sure you've realized by now that I don't act great under pressure. So I caved, and I told her that I ran away from home because of my not-so-great mother. I didn't go into more detail than that, but it was enough for her to latch on.
You know, when I was your age, I was already baking bread every morning to show how dedicated I was. You are clearly lacking this dedication, judging by the missing year in your resume. But I don't blame you, since you don't have a mother anymore. That's all you need, a mommy to show you how to behave. I can be your mommy for you, make a proper person out of you.
This was creepy. I was holding back tears during this interview because I was so overwhelmed and creeped out. And in the end I told her I would call her to let her know my decision, which was an obvious no. I did not want to work for a woman who just said she wants to be my mommy. This woman then also had the audacity to call the place I was receiving money from, as I was still searching for a job, to tell them that I declined a perfect job opportunity. That got me in trouble with the government. They did not care what I told them about her behavior at all. But boy am I glad I never started working at that place. And that's it. For now at least. I wouldn't be surprised if I make a part 3 one day, but there are other videos I want to focus on first. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the creepy stories, and I will see you in the next one. Have a wonderful day.